I like this. Donald Trump keeps declaring national emergencies. Why? Because emergency powers are better than non-emergency powers. What's the mystery there?
When's gas gonna go down?
I don't know. Eventually,
Damn it! I need gas to go down. It's getting a little out of hand.
it is. It's kind of went up a little bit.
And I saw this article last week, and it was like, oh, oil. The cost of oil is down. You should see the drastic drop of oil prices, and they went up. And I was like, I feel lied to.
Yeah, you should feel lied to. That's how that works.
Because this is supposed to lower prices, not raise. Although eggs is getting cheaper.
Yeah, well, bird flu's kind of quieted down. That's why eggs were expensive.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought eggs were just expensive because
No,
money.
because they were expensive because we didn't have any eggs.
Oh.
Which I love. They're like the price of eggs. Like we don't have any eggs. What do you what did you think was going to
where do we get eggs from?
Here mostly, but we had to pull a bunch of chickens.
Oh. Well, see, I thought it was just a thing the government was doing.
Can I blind you with this?
No, don't do that. Get your disco ball away from me.
That is obnoxious.
But it stands out.
It does stand out, which is sort of a thing with Rocky.
It drew my eye. The moment I saw it, I was like, "Ooh, I gotta try this."
Sucker for marketing.
I am a marketing whore. Okay, I am a whore for marketing. If it's cool, I'll fucking buy it. You know this. I'm bougie. Like I'm just like that's cool. I want that golf bag. It's $1,000. Like, come on. I'm not even that good at golf.
I keep looking for golf bags for you for a stand bag. Oh, I do like. Listen, it's gonna smoke in about 12 minutes.
But
the draw on Rockies is always just.
It's
so
good, right?
Yeah.
What about the flavor though?
Good nose.
Okay. I thought you lit yours.
Where's my lighter? Where's Cameron? What are we even talking about? Are we live? Are we doing things?
We're talking.
Okay.
This is a me and you conversation. Just me and you having a conversation about life.
What's going on? Are you guys golfing this week?
We're golfing.
I can't golf with you again until after the 1st.
I know you're tired because work, and then it's a holiday, so you're going to be stuck working the holiday. I imagine it's about to start to get crazy out there, isn't it?
It's already there.
Is it really? Shit. And, hang on. It's Kevin. Look at that.
Hey.
Kevin, I poured you some Michter's 10.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Are you not sitting on camera for a reason?
He's still not in the chat. I have to allow him in the chat, and I don't have my other mouse.
Oh.
But
he's about to do a beer run.
That's right.
BEERUN.
Did he text us? Is he just ignoring us?
Yeah, he said he was sitting in Linger. I told him to join the other one because it kicked me out of the other one because he waited too long to hop in.
There we go. Yeah.
Speaking of bags, I was looking at a golf bag that was recommended to me on Amazon. It's all white.
Don't do that.
And my thought...
Wait, okay. Is this one of those ghost bags? Because do not pay the $400.
It was not. It's like $88.
Okay. That's
don't buy golf bags off Amazon.
Because my thought... Give me 1 second.
They're going to be trash.
Really? Even the more respectable brands?
Well, if it's a respectable brand, it won't be.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So long as it's real.
I got you. But like the generic no name.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Okay.
This is like all the people you see on the mountain. There's these brands, Dope and Montec and something else, and like shitty knockoff goggle companies, and people are wearing them all over the mountain. You're like, that stuff is garbage. Like, it's not good outerwear, not good goggles.
So I can't wear the Goggins goggles?
I don't know. I'd have to see who makes Goggins goggle/glasses.
The best commercial I've ever seen. I don't care what anyone says. Have you heard of that? Because you guys are you're a skier.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Scoob?
No.
Apparently, it's a ski company. This guy was telling me about it a couple weeks ago. You basically set them your custom measurements and like you describe a ski that you want them to build, and they'll make it custom for you for like $500.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that's. I'd be curious about their materials. That's a little light.
That sounds kind of
When you guys,
I was like, that's
when
crazy.
can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
When you guys were talking earlier, when you're talking about Goggins goggles, are you talking about David Goggins?
No, Walter Goggins.
Oh, okay. I was like, if somebody used his name without David Goggins, would like come and slaughter you.
No, Walter Goggins, the guy who plays Boyd Crowder from Justified.
Oh,
He
okay.
also played one of the cops on The Shield.
Cops and the Shield. Yeah, he did play the Cop and Shield, and he's baby Bobby Billy on the Righteous Gemstones. He's a Bible
Walter
salesman.
Goggins. Yeah, we just watched an episode of that last
Walton,
night.
yeah.
That's Walton Goggins. Yeah. We were just watching Righteous Gemstones last night. Oh my god,
Kevin?
that show is so ridiculous.
Yeah, no, that might be one of his better roles, if I'm being honest, because he plays. It's like Boyd Crowder if he just sold shady Bibles.
Yeah, he's selling shady goggles.
Yeah.
Have you seen the newest episodes or the newest season?
No, I just watched like tidbits from the first season and some
Oh man,
clips of him.
the character arc of his character, Baby Billy, is it's ridiculous. It's definitely the funniest of all of the different characters. It just gets out of hand.
What is that? What show is that?
Righteous Gemstones. It's on
got-
HBO Max.
It's got.
I can't describe it. It's just it's the guy who does Eastbound and Down. He's
Danny
kind of that
McBride.
goofy. Yeah, Danny McBride.
yeah.
It's one of his works.
It's got John Goodman.
Oh,
Essentially, it's like it's a family called the Gemstones who are these mega church multi-millionaires, and it's a hilarious take on people who are uber rich off of people that go to these churches.
Oh, so it's like
And-
what's his face and Tammy Faye and the dude in Orange County, whose name I don't remember, but he's a super young guy, or he was.
I don't know.
The
I
mega
haven't
church
I've
folk.
seen that one.
No, these are
Yeah, I
actually
mean, I
these are
don't-
real. Say something, Cameron.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
what's
fine.
up?
That's fine. No,
Oh,
I
that
just
blowing
we're
your
just
face
doing
off?
an audio check.
Oh, okay. How's mine sound? Do I have that ridiculous echo?
No, you're good. Once you stop moving around, once you get settled, it was all right.
Cool.
Anyway,
The only reason why I was gonna grab that bag was because it was all white, and I wanted to test painting on it and seeing how I can get it to stick.
what? I mean, I'm sure you can do it.
I like Lane's like I just have questions. White golf bag on the golf course, asking for trouble.
My whole plan was just to sit there and paint it and try and figure out how I can make it my own, the way I would like it. Because the one I was looking at is more expensive than I want to pay.
That's fair. What was the expensive one you wanted?
Remember that Vegeta one I showed you? Yes, another nerd bag.
So you're basically just trying to make it so Lane never wants to golf with us at all.
Listen, my goal is to enjoy my time out there and embarrass people, including myself.
The only acceptable like full kook golf bag is the Rodney Dangerfield's golf bag from the original Caddyshack.
So I was thinking about that one. Okay, and I think you could set up the tape deck in the golf bag. However, you would also need either to one, be able to plug it into the golf cart battery pack under the seats, or also bring a separate car battery to run said equipment and accessories for that golf bag. It might be a little impractical.
Well, you're also going to need some air jets and individual club tubes because it'll like launch your golf club out for you.
That one I figured was easy. That one is just if you just spring loaded them.
Yeah.
There are hydraulics.
And a mini keg.
Well, hang on. Look, the mini keg, that one's easy. It's just going to be a separate, one of those little mini golf bags that seems keg size appropriate. And I think that just has to be its own little thing.
In the cart.
Putting the both of them into one seems a little impractical.
No. You remember the Heineken keg and the Foster's keg?
Oh, the little small ones, yeah.
Yeah, you're just going to build a compartment in the golf bag.
I guess you could cut out the the cooler pouch. That's probably the right size.
I mean, you don't
So,
need that. I
you
mean,
know, you take the cooler pouch out. You put the little Foster's keg in there.
I feel like you can still keep the cooler pouch in there, especially if you take it and like just cut out the sides, extend it out with a little bit more fabric. Then you keep the keg cool. Then you don't have to deal with warm beer.
Well, no, you gotta have warm beer. Like,
No, there's something wrong with you.
mistakes must be made. Okay?
You're not drinking warm beer. You're barely drinking cold beer.
I don't drink beer at all. If I'm on the golf course, clearly you've seen me and Kevin. We just drink bourbon. Hole
if you're on the
we get
golf
there, we
course in
drink
England-
bourbon.
What was that?
If you're on the
Cam?
golf course in England, then it's required for it to be warm.
That's because it's 40 degrees and raining.
And they're trying to torture themselves.
Yeah, warm is relative. Though. Like room temperature is cold.
Warm beer for Brits is hot chocolate.
Wine is the same thing. They're like, well, they drink it at room temperature. Well, they drink it at room temperature where it comes from. So like Chardonnay from Burgundy actually served pretty cold because room temperature is pretty damn cold.
You can't just put ice in it and call it a day.
What the fuck? What are you
a-
talking about, Casey?
Just cool the glass. You'll be okay.
That was purely for me, for Lane to look at me and go, "How dare you?"
It's definitely one of those things that drives me nuts about Adele, because like Lane and I lived out San Luis Obispo and all that in the wine country, and every single bottle of wine, it doesn't matter what it is, a Cab Sauv, fucking anything, it all goes straight in the fridge, and I'm just like, oh.
I mean,
Oh,
why don't
God.
you just buy her something in a box and get it over with?
Right? Should just do the baggie.
The old dependable box of wine.
Like, I'm sure you can get Franzia in Cambodia.
And the true thing is, most Aussies like the box wine or the bag wine.
That's just because
Well,
koalas
what's
can't
funny
steal
is,
it.
I actually, her and I got in a
Casey,
fight once.
I think we're in focus.
Okay. You got in a fight once about? What, just once?
well,
or just once about
no.
wine?
No, it wasn't even about wine. It was just, we were in a fight about nothing, as most couples are. But I was like, you know what? I think that you should just convert over to straight boxed wine because you drink terrible wine and you put everything in the fridge and you have no taste in wine at all. And she literally flipped out. It was like the worst possible dig I could make at her.
I mean, factually accurate, though.
This is also true.
Yeah.
or just start drinking Bartles and James.
Yeah, the wine cooler, in fact.
Drink the wine cooler.
But what is the Sonny Wurtzik homework?
Yeah, I was wondering that myself. I don't remember that. Okay. Well, anyway, moving on.
Wow, that's a good
How
question.
do you guys? What have you guys been up to this week?
I mean, I was in Napa.
That was
At least
working.
until Friday, where I had to come back to work. I had to cut my vacation a couple days short. It was
Yeah,
good. It was
understood.
listen. I love Napa, right? I know a bunch of people there. I know a bunch of cigar shop owners. I got to hang out with people I know, but like something about Napa, I think just service and the way we price stuff generally, it felt sort of stale and old and transactional. Like it didn't have much energy this time. And I think I don't know how to say this. I think when you're pricing out services, wine tasting, when you're selling product, especially like off premise, whatever, when you're taking it home, don't care. But like when you're serving it to somebody, I think when you reach perfect equitable value, when you're charging exactly what it's worth to the customer, like the customers don't just give you money, they also give you energy, which those businesses thrive on. And when they feel like the money's all they need to give you because they're paying exactly what it's worth and you don't get anything else, like that's the death of your business. Like that's when service businesses like restaurants and bars start to feel stale.
Oh, I've watched it happen in real time.
Is there?
But
You
out
think
here,
there's
I've
anything
seen
to that?
Yeah, I think that personally, because I've been in the industry for a long time too, and I can tell you out here, I've watched maybe 15, 20 businesses that are of note. There's a Brazilian place that opened up, right? And everybody liked it at first. And I'll compare it to this other place called Mexed Up, which is still open. Now, the difference between the two was the Brazilian place, you would go there, it was cool, it had a good vibe. But at some point, it just kind of felt like it was it's not really that it wasn't worth the money. Like the food was good, it wasn't overpriced, but like the interaction between the staff and the interaction between the people in the place, like it wasn't really working. It was like scattered electrons.
Yeah, I think you need, like, I think I could put it very simply, right? You need the customer to feel like they're getting ever so slightly the better deal.
Yeah, well, I think it's more than just that. I mean, you need staff that, like back at Marty's, dude. The reason all that worked was because people like Chase, Cody, but they would introduce everybody that came in. They would introduce them to somebody immediately. Oh, hey, welcome to the place. You never been here before? Oh, meet this dude or meet that. That's how we met Eric. You know?
Yeah, but it wasn't just
And
that.
so-
It wasn't just that. It was also like Marty's had an energy about it. So like, even if you were paying exactly what the beer was worth, you know, $6 or whatever, like you're getting something else out of the deal. Like you're getting the scene, you're getting the energy, like you're getting the feel of it, which you can't really buy, right?
So
But
you're,
like,
Yeah.
you're talking about like the atmosphere on top of just the pay. Like you expect to pay for something, but then also like it's like going to a theme park. Like I'm going to pay $200 to go to a theme park, but it's also got to take me to a different level.
well, it does and it doesn't. What I'm saying is, yes. However, what I'm saying is a really like simplified more than that, right? Like think of this as a contract between the customer and the business. The business needs the customer to feel like they're getting the better deal. Like you
Okay.
don't want to price them out of that feeling. Like, and it doesn't matter what your energy is. Like on the nights where you have no energy, if it's priced perfectly and there's nothing else being offered, the customer doesn't feel like they're getting a better deal. Like they don't feel like they're getting value. They're just getting what they pay for exactly, and that's fucking boring.
I got you.
You know what's interesting is what this place Mexed Up as compared to the Brazilian place, what I was talking before out here, is Mexed Up, the way they've done it, the owners are intrinsically connected with the community. They know everybody, and they introduce everybody that comes in to everybody. But even then, they were pricing people out of the market, and they did something really smart. By the way, the Brazilian cafe, just to finish that story, they collapsed within 3 months. And they were going around asking why. Why did everybody stop coming? And it's like, well, because there was nothing of substance there. It just didn't feel. It's not like the price point was over crazy or whatever, but it just felt dead. It just didn't. There was no energy in the room. But then with Mexed Up, there was energy in the room, but they had priced a lot of people out of the market, and the owner realized it. And to his credit, what he did, which I think was really smart, instead of just cutting his prices, which is what most people do, he announced that he's going to revamp his menu and then add more stuff. And so what he did, which was fun, I thought it was really smart that he did this. And this first restaurant that he's ever owned.
Hey, Josh, how's it going?
Oh, what's up, Josh?
Yeah, we're getting.
Oh, that's
also,
my buddy Josh.
To be,
Yeah, go ahead.
To be fair, Christian, you can't put a value on entertainment like that.
But yeah, what this guy did is he, instead of just dropping the prices on the tacos, which are his main thing, he added burritos, revamped the menu, made the burritos the more expensive thing, and then dropped the price on the tacos, and nobody even noticed. And then now the tacos are flying out the door. Like that's smart business, in my opinion.
Is this like for you, like what you're talking about, Lane? Is this the nightclub problem? Like
Sort of. Like nightclubs are a different deal, right? Like nightclubs, the value proposition in nightclubs. So you have two different value propositions in nightclubs.
okay,
You have the people that go to the bar
yeah,
who are mostly like, they're going to go to the dance floor, like they want to be seen a little bit, but they also don't want to pay an arm and a leg. They're mostly a standard issue bar proposition for value.
yeah.
And then you have table service. And table service, like the price of it almost doesn't matter as long as people can afford it. Because table service is about showing off. Like they're trying to show off. And the more they spend, so long as it's within their budget. So as long as you've guessed the ceiling appropriately and you're priced below the ceiling, they want to come in and spend everything up to that point, to the point where they can't show off anymore. Because that's their whole reason for getting table service.
Right, but like after a while, like you could go to that club for 3 months, but once you've peaked on your sort of fun to cost ratio. Like you're just going to go to the next thing to try to capture that feeling of like, I want to show off here versus going back to the same club you were at 3 months ago. Because people are going to be like, oh, well, we've already been there. We did that.
Well, okay, in a place like Vegas where you're turning over a different crowd every time, that's fair. In a place like in a college town or a place like Tahoe where you need, like, you've got some local support, like you need it to survive, if you can support the bar value proposition properly, because that supports the energy. Like the crowd at the bar is who the people at the tables are going to show off to.
Gotcha.
Like that's the lower tier that they're going to go stand above and be like, we're not you, right? Like that's the whole point.
Okay.
But clubs are a slightly different animal.
Right.
But I just think it's as simple as, and whether it's like a value proposition on the menu, and what you're talking about, Cameron, is menu engineering, and that's a big deal too. But like, and how you set it up, and where your value lives on the menu, and where it doesn't live on the menu. Like these are all things that people put a lot of time and energy into. But like whether it's, like I said, whether it's an economic proposition or it's always popping and you go in there and you feel better, like whatever it is you're using to leverage the relationship, it is in a service business's best interest every time to let the customer feel like they're getting away with something. They are getting the better end of the deal. Because if they don't believe that, you're on your way out. This is my theory. And I don't like
And so that's how Napa felt for you, was that
it felt like Napa was perfectly priced. Like
Okay.
it was exactly an arm's length transaction. It was just a little stale. Like it had lost some energy. Like I wasn't getting the better end of the deal. I was getting exactly what I paid for.
Joshua just said something in there, and he knows actually. So Joshua's a friend of mine that lives in Saigon, and right now Saigon clubs are closing left and right, man. And there used to be a huge scene, and what he just said is, give them what the town is missing. That's another major thing. But like Saigon, the whole scene out there is collapsing. Where CM Reap, the scene is building, and part of the reason is because of what you're talking about. Is like, I feel like people just, it seems like in CM Reap, people are feeling like they're getting that. They're like, man, I can't believe that my bill was that good or my experience was that good, da 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 da. And it's, like you said, it's the value proposition to people when they walk through the door. If it's whether it's energy they're looking for or a good deal or whatever it is that they're looking for. But if you offer something that the town is missing, that's also going to be a major thing,
Well, yeah, but that's hard in Napa, because Napa's like, you go to Napa to taste wine, right? Like, I mean, that's what you do. It's wine country. But if you're just going to go and taste wine, and you're not going to remember the experience of a specific winery if it's just like, oh, I just paid for the wine tasting, it was cool.
Well, and over the last 10 years, the $100 bottle of Napa Cab is now a $300 bottle of Napa Cab, almost across the board.
Wow.
What you used to pay $100 for, you're now paying $300 for, right?
Fuck, what?
Yeah.
What?
And when I started going to Napa as a buyer, like it had a really cool feel.
Yeah.
And now the wine industry as a whole is dying because so many people have been priced out of the stuff that they really want to drink.
So are they also experiencing the whiskey problem?
Oh, they've been experiencing, yeah, but they've been experiencing it like it was happening before COVID. COVID gave them a nice little reprieve, and then as soon as COVID was over, it started again.
Oh.
And that's not just Napa; that's just wine. Period.
Okay.
It's wine is suffering almost as badly as craft beer is. Craft beer is just tanking.
Not out here. What's funny is out here, craft beer is exploding. It's just over the last 3 years, it's dominating the market out here.
Fun story, Josephus. I went to Napa Auto Parts in Napa to have my battery tested because my car was having itself a little tantrum.
Was it the battery or the alternator?
It wasn't any of it. I don't know what it is. They tested the alternator, the battery, and the starter, all fine. But every time I go to sea level with my car, it takes an extra cycle and a half, like a slow turn and a half, for the starter to kick over.
You know what? You should talk to my dad about that. He could probably fix that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, but as soon as I got back up here, it was fine. And I don't know what that is.
That might be an engine issue.
No. If it got up there, then that would probably be because your carburetor is set for a different altitude.
Yeah, but I don't have a carburetor.
Well, then I guess that's that. I don't know what kind of,
It's computer.
Well, back in the 80s, that would have been the problem.
well, I don't know. I don't know.
Solenoid. Josephus says solenoid.
Oh.
It could be the solenoid, or it could be the computer settings in there, because they can set the parameters for the oxygen.
Fair, but I bought the car
solenoid
at
does
sea
make
level.
sense.
That is true.
Yeah, actually,
Solenoid.
I think we're gonna go solenoid because you got it in San Diego, so
Yeah.
that doesn't make any sense.
Could even be the map sensor. That'll
Yeah,
cause that
you
issue
know what?
as well.
You know what it is you stop paying for that service, and
Right.
So now the computer's like, no, you missed your payment on your Phoenix Down. We're just gonna ruin this car.
Yeah.
And maybe you should take it into the dealership where you bought it and have them check it out.
I will. I mean, it's all
Well,
like
oh yeah, let him just take a casual road trip back down to San Diego
mean-
where he bought it.
no. I go to the dealership in Carson.
No, go back to those guys. You fucking sold me a
Yeah,
lemon. Give him the knife hand.
You basically want it. Hopefully, if you take it here, they can get the computer readings. But if you can't get the computer readings, when you go down there, have them test it down there, because then it'll be easier because it's showing at that point in time.
I think
Yeah.
Kevin's just trying to send you back to Napa.
Kind of.
I think he's like, go back on vacation.
I was disappointed that I had to come back and go straight to work.
Yeah, it's
Like I literally
No, you
drove
know-
in Friday
yeah,
into work.
Into work, yeah.
You know what you have to do, Lan. You know the only answer to this.
Ford F100.
You got to go to Carl. Good old Carl. Mark's brother-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
English Carl. He'll fix you right up.
Oh God.
You'll come back with a different engine.
I'm like, is my car a different color? Is this actually the same car I brought in?
Something looks off about this car.
You got 3 mismatched tires. You're like, wait, one of them is bigger than the others. What the hell?
Is that a 15-inch rim on that wheel?
Oh yeah, your alignment's off a little bit now too. I can fix that for you later.
I mean, the only thing worse would be going to fucking Nick.
Oh yeah.
Is he still in business?
Yeah.
Oh man, that surprises
I don't know
me.
how. I don't know how people like that continue to stay in business, dude. It's hilarious.
Because
Like,
in
I mean,
Tahoe, there's very few options.
Yeah, I've always wondered why. I told my dad, I was like, why didn't you ever just decide to open a shop in Tahoe? Because you would just be killing it. And he was like, well, Barrett, because I hate Tahoe and I hate the snow and I don't like the altitude, and your mother lives there.
Not in that order.
Not necessarily in that order.
All right, you ready, Cameron? You've got a drink ID in the chat.
There's like 2 in there,
no.
but the other one's further
All
up.
right, what do we got?
The Tamacam Sour, a whiskey sour with tamarind paste.
Ooh,
There's
that
al-
actually sounds pretty good.
He also
And we
posted
have
another
tamarind
one.
out here.
He called it
What-
Cam Pot. It's pepper martini, lemon juice, simple syrup, muddled fresh green cam pot, peppers, and vodka.
Well, at least your sinuses would be
Those
cleared
are
out.
actually both legitimate. Those could both actually work. And I have all of that here.
Are
I
you
don't know
gonna
if
Are you gonna do a tears in your eyes Bloody Mary? Like you can have a Bloody Mary that makes people cry.
Oh yeah, dude. I did that. I don't know if you remember when I used to own that hostel up in Pie, but we used to have Bloody Sundays, and we'd have a DJ come out, and I would make one batch of Bloody Marys that was like for the regular person, which was still spicy, but then there was the Cameron version, and dude, much to my surprise, people bought this extra ultra mega spicy one because it became like a
The bloody can.
it became a, well, it was called the bloody asshole, but
Of course it was.
That was close.
It became like a rite of passage in town for any like tourist. So all the different like hostels would send people to my bar and be like, "You gotta get the bloody asshole," and then people. So I would just run out of that one every time. And I remember my general manager was like, "Dude, that's way too spicy. Nobody's ever gonna buy that." And I was making so I was buying the cheapest possible vodka. I would make 6 gallons of it at a time.
Ooh.
I would make it the day before. I would slow cook I made all my own Bloody Mary mix, fresh. Slow cook it the whole night before. I think I would say somewhere around in 6 gallons, maybe 2,000 Thai bird's eye chilies, and then 5 other types of chilies. And
Fun story about the Thai chili. the little skinny guy, the best chili to infuse alcohol with, because you don't get that green pepper note. You just get heat.
Really?
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, that's true. I have. There's a Cambodian one. We have them growing right over there. Just reminded me. I have to go pick them off because we have too many. They'll just dry up. But yeah, when they get to that like dark red, man, it's just pure fucking spice. There is like, whew, it's just. It was funny because when I was with my buddy Boone and we were, working on the bar, he was like, "Oh, what do you think of the chilies?" And I just picked one off, put it in my mouth, and I love spice, dude. And I was like, "Yeah, it's good." And then it was like, hit the front of the tongue, and I was like, And then like, I'm like trying to hold it together while I'm having a conversation, and then I'm like, "Oh God, what have I done to myself?"
What's the flavor like on that?
Oh, it's really good. It's like got a yeah, oh, definitely. It's very full. It's very it's got like a back of the mouth taste that's kind of hard to explain, but it's got quite a bit of zest to it, which is really nice.
So what I'm gonna need you to do, Cameron,
yeah,
get a shit bottle of Chardonnay, and I mean shit.
Oh no. Oh no.
And infuse it with a bunch of Thai chilies.
okay.
And then hide it in the back of the fridge. And see how long it takes.
No, it's got to be like it's got to be something that's
Like a rosé.
that. No, she doesn't drink that shit. But it's got to be something that can at least hide the chilies, because the Chardonnay, she'll be able to see them.
No, actually, even better. Leave them in the bottle, and then just put your own label on it. I want it to say Australian's Last Resort, and see how long it takes her to get there.
Listen, if you do it right, you can put the peppers in there and then strain them out through a cheesecloth.
No, I want her to see it. Like, this has got it. Like, I want, when it's finally drank, I want it to be like the ultimate act of depravity. Like, see, I was right.
Wow.
You drink trash.
Jigsaw Lane over here. Hello, detective. I'd like to play a game. This is your last bottle of Chardonnay. There's 2 million Scovilles in there. You're going to have to drink the whole thing. The key's in the bottom.
Dude. No, seriously, Josephus, I'll actually try those out. Lane and I are still working on some cocktails. As soon as I finish the bar, we've almost got the painting completely finished, and the beer guy's supposed to be delivering the fridge today.
He gave you a couple more too.
Yeah, he's been spouting off drinks. You're going to have to write all these down, man.
Yeah, well, I'll go back through and check out the live chat. Actually, it'd be good if somehow I can get Josephus my email, if Josephus can get us his email.
Yeah, we've got him on Insta. We can send it to him.
Yeah, do that, please, because I'd like to. These are all really good ideas, and we're doing a craft. So we got June 14th. We've got freestylers from the UK, which is it's pretty crazy the people we brought out. So, but this is the grand opening of my actual event venue. So we actually just went down yesterday and bought 2 more mini line arrays. So now we have 3. So that's 4,500 watts of sound for the venue. We've got 2 craft beer vendors, a Jamaican jerk chicken vendor coming up from Phnom Penh, pizza vendor. We only have 2 vendor spots left. So we've already made just out of that, we've already made back out of the full budget for the event about, I would say, a fifth just from the vendor rentals. So that's exciting because it was getting a little crazy. But yeah, we just ordered them. So we'll have those delivered tomorrow and then test them. So, but yeah, freestylers are from the UK. If you guys haven't heard of them, they're epic. They had a really, really famous track in the 90s called Push Up.
Oops.
And then that'll be the grand opening of the bar. So I'll test
time.
out some of those because I want to do we're going to do craft cocktails as well. So Lane's working on some with me, and I'll try some of those out as well. Why not?
I just buttoned up the summer cocktail menu for the place that I'm at now.
Ooh, that's exciting.
And the wine list and the beer. I think I'm waiting on one more one more beer to see if they can bring it into the market for me,
Nice.
and then I'll be done.
That'd be fun.
That'll be nice to have that out of the way.
Hell yeah.
Where's it out of?
The beer. Well, so the distributor carries it in Sacramento, but they've never brought it up here before. And they have a separate, like a staging warehouse up here that they would have to be able to load it into. The beer itself is out of, it's fitting actually for this podcast. It's out of Tampa. The brewery is called Cigar City.
Oh, you're getting
nice.
Cigar City?
And the beer is called High Life,
Ooh.
which is great because everyone walks up and goes, "Can I get a Jaya Lai?" They're like,
Jaya-lai?
"Sure."
Oh, because it's spelled like that
Yeah.
weird sport.
It is the weird sport. That's what it's named
okay,
for.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
High
yeah.
Life.
Oh,
Yeah. I don't understand that sport. But you know what? When it comes on the Ocho, I watch that shit.
which one's that one?
The only way I can describe it to you is it's the sport they play in the opening of Miami Vice. It's legitimately the only way I can explain it.
Oh, you're
I
gonna
don't
have
even
to
know
show
how
me
people
it.
still play it.
Trust me, I've spent years watching it on the Ocho. Do not understand that game at all. But it's just like the most aggressive handball game I've ever seen in my life.
I feel like you should do a deep dive on this just so we can figure this out.
I already follow enough weird sports. I don't need to add to the list. Apparently, I got to get into lacrosse.
How did pickleball get so big that there's like homeowners associations from across the street from these places all over America flipping out and trying to get pickleball courts shut down?
I mean, I don't know.
I do. It's slower tennis.
Yeah,
That's
it's
fair.
It's pong but tennis. Add the pong noise when you watch a game of pickleball. It
It's
lines
perfect.
up perfect.
It's perfect.
Ba-doing.
I mean, the ball's super dead, so it doesn't go that fast.
Yeah.
Like they play it in the basketball court, which the gym that I work at is built on the second floor, like around the basketball court. It's got like they've got like 3 courts, and they like no basketball those days, and they put pickleball down there. And I was working out, and I saw some friends down there, and they're like, "Come play pickleball." I'm like, "That would not go well."
I'm gonna hit that like it's a tennis shot.
Yeah. First of all, your game is racquetball. I don't think racquetball can translate down to pickleball. I don't think that's how that works.
I mean, it is if you tweak it a little bit.
It's
and make
like taking a Formula One driver and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna need you to drive this lawnmower for me real quick." it's just not gonna work.
Listen, it can work if you tweak it a little bit and turn it into dodgeball as well.
If you added the racquetball, it might be interesting. I don't know.
Just see fucking Brad Pitt like just racing riding a lawnmower.
Well, they have that stupid Ultra commercial now, and Willem Dafoe is one of the guys. and
Yeah,
they challenge. They're like, "We'll play you for ultras," and they go play pickleball.
Isn't it Willem Dafoe and fucking Stifler's mom?
Yeah,
Yep.
and they're like, "We'll play you for those ultras," and you're like, "What are they playing?" And they're playing pickleball, and you're like, "God damn it!"
Like hustling pickleball. You're like, I can't.
That's probably happening right now. Like that's based off of real events.
Probably.
Dude, by the way, Stifler is in the latest season of Righteous Gemstones, and I swear, dude, that guy has to be a vampire because he is not aged at all. Either that or he has the most brilliant plastic surgeon on earth because he looks exactly like he did in American Pie.
He goes to the guy who Tom Cruise goes to.
Yeah, for real.
Tom Cruise hasn't aged. I mean, Shatner doesn't look 95, but he is.
Whoa.
You're like, what the
It's
fuck?
amazing that he lasted that long.
It's all those preservatives.
Josephus, I don't know if it's tennis on heroin or if it's tennis on ketamine.
I go with the second.
I think it's tennis on ketamine. Definitely tennis on ketamine.
I think it's tennis on mushrooms, if we're being fair.
Ketamine is just a poor man's Quaalude.
Oh my god.
You said Shatner, and the thing that something came to my mind that I was looking at earlier. So NASA wants to put in this year the first man on the moon again, for over like quite a long time, right?
It's been a while, yes.
They want to do that, but they're also wanting to move equipment up there to start mining elements off the moon. My question is, as they start mining and they get deep enough, what happens to the structural integrity of the moon as asteroids hit it?
The moon is not going to fall out of the sky.
I don't believe.
It's actually going the other way.
Yeah, it's fine. If anything, lightening it up make it stay for another couple thousand years.
What I'm saying is it's not that. It's when asteroids hit it. It's not. I want to know if it's going to cause impact to cause it to suck in, collapse on itself a little bit more, make it smaller.
Well, they're aiming for the southern pole.
You
That's
think
where
we're
they
gonna
wanna go.
hollow the fucker out? Like,
You know what? We do a lot of stupid shit as a bunch of humans.
Hey.
There's a solid chance we're dumb enough to do it.
That's no moon.
I thought you guys all knew the moon is hollow. It's a Nazi base. It's the entire middle of it is actually just steel.
This is that Iron Sky. Is that what that movie was?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a B movie called Iron Sky, and legitimately,
Yeah,
like
awful.
they from the 40s, they had just been hollowing out and turning the moon into this super mega base, and they just exist out there on the base of the moon. But no, Kevin, it's gonna be okay.
Well, I was just curious because we are dumb enough to do it.
If anything, I'm more worried about in 2030 when they decide to finally bring down the International Space Station
Oh yeah.
because they're supposed to land it in the ocean, like in pieces.
They're gonna
That's
miss it
never gonna work.
entirely.
It's
No, they're gonna land it at fucking whatever that area is,
what
like
area?
in the South Pacific.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's gonna miss.
What do they call that? Point Geronimo?
I think so. That sounds right.
Are you talking about the place where they have that like the biggest waves on Earth?
No. There's a section of the Pacific. If you were in the center of it, the closest human being to you is the guy in the International Space Station. It's that far from everything,
Oh wow.
Oh wow!
and that's where they down most satellites.
Okay.
It'll probably end up hitting fucking Tonga.
Yeah.
Crash into the side of Peru. You know, we've
Imagine
actually
if it
had
accidentally hit
people.
Hawaii.
We've had people in space since October 31st, 2000. Like full time. There's always been somebody up there.
Yeah, they have the
yeah.
date where the last time every human was on the planet.
Was actually on the planet. I
Yeah.
saw that article. I was like, what the fuck are they talking about? I'm like, oh, because they were in space technically.
Yeah.
I'm like, that seems like you're cheating there. Technically, we sent a guy to the moon in the 60s. I think that should count.
I just enjoy
Yeah,
the
what-
fact that we're trying to get back there, and it's starting to turn into a space race between us and China and Russia again.
I mean, I don't think
Yeah.
Russia's going to be in that
Well,
I
space
don't think
race
so
very
either,
long.
but
Yeah,
they're putting their name in the hat.
I wouldn't
The
be
difference
signing up for
now
any
is-
cosmonaut mission from them.
I think this is going to be a lot different this
We
time
sent
around,
Doug.
though, because now it's a commercial space race about resources. So we're going to get there fast.
Oh yeah.
What? No, because it turns out you don't have to go to space to make resources. We have a large
fucking
hadron collider, and we can turn
Don't
lead
tell
to gold.
Cameron this.
Lead to gold, yeah. I know.
Yeah.
All right, all you have to do is make sure that the lead molecules don't hit each other. In the billion-dollar project, the Hadron Collider, we make gold. Genius. Fuck space. We don't have to go anywhere right now. I'm waiting for the aftermarket. Like, it's like Men in Black 2. Like, remember they had the deneuralizer in the fucking MIB headquarters, and then they had to go to Jeeves, and he had like the janky one in his basement. I'm waiting for the janky Hadron Collider in someone's fucking basement.
Josephus says, "Have you ever heard of the conspiracy? Space is all water." No.
Wow.
I have
No,
not.
actually,
Dude, I
I've never
did-
heard that.
I don't know how it came up, but I did end up down the rabbit. Like this video came up because when I put on YouTube, a lot of times like I just
You
let
listen
it
and let it
play,
go.
and I go do other stuff around the apartment.
So you weren't paying attention.
No, I wasn't paying attention, and this guy, like I hear, like it's one of those things that it grabs your attention because you're like that's okay.
All right.
This guy comes on and he's like, "We've proved that the Earth is flat."
Oh,
I'm like, "Oh,
Hang on.
let's hear this."
let me make some popcorn. Hold on. This will be good.
It's like someone took the time to make this video.
I'm curious on how they proved it now.
My you know what my favorite one is those guys who did the light theory,
Yeah.
and they were like, all right, if the Earth is flat, because they were trying to prove it's flat, they're like, the way the lights are set up through this little hole through this camera, he's like half a mile away. if the Earth is round, you won't be able to see the light. And they look through the camera. They're like, I don't see the light. And the guy goes, hey Todd, can you like raise the light a little bit? I think it's at the wrong level. He's like, no, man, it's at 20 feet. And he goes, all right, just hold it above your head then. And you just see the light kind of pop up and then pop back down. And the guy in the camera just goes, well, that's strange.
No. So this guy, he was doing math like curvature over time, right?
Oh.
Like the actual, and
nice.
his argument was that like, if you do the math on the curvature of the Earth, he actually used Tahoe, which I thought was entertaining.
Oh,
He's
no.
like, the north shore of Lake Tahoe would be 167 feet below the south shore of Lake Tahoe. I'm like, well, that's just bad math.
Where'd you get your degree?
First of all, maybe that guy needs a calculator.
Did you guys ever hear
perhaps
about
a mathematician?
Did you guys ever hear about when Terrence Crawford submitted his like whole 38-page paper to Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Oh, yeah.
And Neil deGrasse Tyson, he wasn't trying to be a dick. He was like, okay, I'll just edit it as if it's a college paper and send it back.
Yeah.
And then Terrence Crawford felt like it was a huge insult or whatever.
I'm going to be honest,
it's
Terrence Crawford describing like his geometric shapes in phase that he's created felt a lot like a conversation I recently had in the cigar shop.
No, let's hear this one.
Oh,
no,
yes.
no, we're not going to talk about it.
No, we're not going to go down that.
But it was equally frustrating to like
just know out there in the universe, there are people who have created every geometric shape possible and put them in a device.
in phase.
In phase.
I don't know what
Yes.
that means, but
Yes, they're humming together in phase. Yes.
Yeah, he's taking a bit too much DMT, I think. But it's kind of funny because it's like him doing that with sending it to Neil deGrasse Tyson is actually kind of funnily similar to there's this DJ, a local DJ in town here, who's like been DJing for 4 years, and we brought out Graham Gold, who's been DJing for like 38 years. And she wanted to sit down and have dinner with him and be at the dinner. You know, we do a dinner with everybody afterward. And then she makes the ultimate mistake of being like, yeah, well, I mean, I wanted to talk to you about your mixing techniques because I think mine are like that. And he just fucking, he was like, he's got this super thick English accent. She was like, what did you think of my set? Because I think my mixing techniques are pretty, advanced. And he was like, are you fucking kidding me? And he's just like, he just starts just ripping holes in her. He was like, you couldn't fucking mix if it saved your fucking life. And he was like, beyond that, your track selection is fucking shit. So why are you even sitting here talking to me? I was just like, oh God.
you did that, Bowman.
Yeah, you did that.
Yeah.
On
I
purpose.
did put her. I actually did.
Yeah.
I will not lie.
Yeah.
I did put her in the room with him because I knew that would happen. But I was like, I didn't expect it to erupt as fast as it was. But it was because this chick needed to have her ego brought down to level, man.
To be fair, it definitely could have gone that direction with you and Morgan Freeman.
For sure. So
Turns
by the
out
way,
if he wasn't as cool as he is.
Well, if I was like, by the way, I'm writing a script, guys, blah, 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 I didn't mention any of that shit.
Yeah.
I was just like telling stories about life and whatever, talking normal. But yeah, I definitely, if I would have tried any way to be like, yeah, so by the way, I'm an actor. Can you give me any advice? Oh God, that would have just.
I could just see you right now. Like, so
Well, yeah, all right.
I have some critiques of your character in Deep Impact.
So funny enough, that did come up.
No, I know. I'm very aware.
But it wasn't. No, it came up at dinner. But it wasn't me that brought it up. He brought up how funny. He brought up that it was funny that that it even ended up on the thing. And I was like, because he was like, and then Malcolm McDowell from across the way, he was like, oh, that was real shit, that one. and Morgan Freeman's like, yeah, I know.
Yeah. Well, didn't he say,
like,
I wish I could get that one back?
Oh, that was before we went to dinner. That was when when he was like listening to Shawshank Redemption and he's being like, oh yeah. And then all of a sudden it's like, and he played the president in Deep Impact and he just looked straight at me and he was like, shook his head and he was like, I'll take that one back. Took all of me. Janot's even like holding his fucking mouth in the background, trying just like snickering, trying not to laugh when he said that. Like the perfect response, you know what I mean? Oh, dude, good times. But yeah, that's some good stuff. So, but yeah, what are you guys drinking on today? Oh, by the way, what if the entire outer space was actually made of bourbon?
I'd be an alcoholic for sure.
Apparently, it tastes like raspberries. So just throwing that out there.
Hey, I think Christian threw a drink your way too.
Yeah, they've been throwing drinks at you for a while.
Legitimately, it's been like nothing but drink ideas for you. So you've got a mound of drinks now.
The drink is called the Mexican Firing Squad. The next drink on the list needs to be "And Cameron's Escape."
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. Any luck?
So I read an article today about Quentin Tarantino.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can you guess his favorite TV show that he watched 3 times over?
Ooh.
Oh, you know what? I saw that. I don't remember what it was, but I saw it. It surprised me.
The Newsroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Aaron Sorkin does the best dialogue writing of all time. So he watched The Newsroom 3 times over just to study and pay attention to the dialogue.
He does, though.
I was like blown away by that. I was like, are you kidding me?
Dude, the guy can write. This is my problem. Everyone thinks they're Aaron Sorkin, and nobody is.
No, 100%. But like, his writing style is just so good.
Like everything they tried to do with all of the new Star Wars, a lot of the Marvel, like in the dialogue scenes, they're just trying to do Aaron Sorkin. And it's the same volume of dialogue, but the pacing and the dialogue itself is just such trash compared to what he did.
Right. Like you can put 2 guys and you can have them walk in front of a camera down a corridor, easy peasy. But you can't also then add the substantive talk that Sorkin puts into his writing on top of that. You just fall flat. It's like, maybe they don't need to walk and talk. Maybe they can just stand there so they can focus on the words.
His sort of like subtle, dry humor is perfect for those dialogue scenes, like the way they end.
Yes. And like the humor in The Newsroom, like the one dude who's always trying to talk about Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And then the one time he's like, all right, tell me about the Bigfoot
thing. He's like, nope.
I would almost fucking die happy if I could get Quentin Tarantino, because he's doing those film reviews now, where he just talks about the different movies.
Yeah.
If we could get him to sit through Facing the Giants.
Oh God.
Why would you
do that to another human being?
Stop. You've already done it to enough people. Stop trying to make it happen.
Dude, believe it or not, that movie did not sell well.
I was telling Lane this because I was talking to him about this a couple days ago, and I was like, a movie I watched recently, and I think that we need to reevaluate its level on the shit list. And I was like, Street Fighter. I'm like, I think we need to talk about Street Fighter.
I mean, I've seen it too.
It's a pretty good movie, I think.
It's holding up for what it is.
Yes, see, Kevin knows it holds up. It's fucking fantastic for what it is. It's fucking fantastic.
We're obviously talking about Street Fighter, not the Street Fighter with Sonny Chiba.
No,
right?
we're talking about Street Fighter.
He's talking about fucking Jean-Claude Van Damme and Raul Julia and fucking Guile and Ken and Ryu.
He's not wrong though. It does hold up somehow.
It does. It does. Really
not.
When was the last time you watched it?
Not long enough.
He's refusing.
Look.
Compared to what we have now,
I understand that you don't like that M. Bison is a scrawny dude who was clearly dying at the time and just did it for the money and for his children. I get that. But if you take that part away, he overacts the fuck out of that role, and it's fantastic.
Listen, I'm not arguing that he isn't a real actor.
And also, I mean, for what it is, they set up all the characters appropriately. Like, they put them all in. They all had their own little screen time. It wasn't like overdone. They didn't try to do any real fan service. It holds up as a decent movie adaptation of a video game. It's much better than Mario
What
Brothers.
I'm going to need someone in here to do is find a way.
I'm on your side.
To pitch that to Quentin Tarantino as his last film.
If Quentin Tarantino made Street Fighter, it'd be the greatest fucking movie of your whole time.
I agree.
Okay? Because if anyone's going to bring back Kung Fu as a genre for that, it's gonna be Street Fighter, 100%. Except for I'd get Jean-Claude Van Damme to play Bison, just to piss you off.
Of course you would.
Actually, I would get the guy who did Reacher to do the body, but he would have Jean-Claude Van Damme's voice.
I could just see whatever that dude's name is. I could just see him reading the part. He's like, "Am I reading this right?" Like, I'm gonna get dubbed over by Jean-Claude Van Damme.
100%.
There's a solid chance you'd be up for
That's
it.
exactly what's gonna happen right here.
Well, the best part about that now is that you could literally have Jean-Claude Van Damme read it all out, and then AI would sync it up perfectly with dude's lips from Jack Reacher.
He just has to phone it in like every other role he's done recently. He'll just be like, "Oh, I don't get to do any kicks or anything." And he's like, no kicks. Just voice. You don't have to dye your hair red.
Listen, for what we have now, I'm pretty sure it's a lot better than most of the stuff we've watched.
I'm telling you, and you know what? There are some stars in there I forgot were in that fucking movie.
Yeah, no, that was one of those movies that you look at and you go, "How?"
You're like, wait a minute. How did they pay them? Like, what was the conversation to be like, so here's what I'm going to need you to do. I want you to do Street Fighter. Okay, this is going to be a great movie.
They really liked playing Street Fighter at the
They
time.
were like, okay, sounds cool.
Maybe their kids played Street Fighter, and they were like, maybe my kids will be happy. And
They
then
were the ones whose
finally-
kids didn't play Street Fighter.
Yeah, no,
Like, they didn't know what it was.
legitimately, I think it was, so this might be Raul Julia's last movie.
Yeah.
Do you want to be in it? And someone was like, I don't even care what I have to say or where, I'm in.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, okay, fine. It's cool.
No, that's fair.
Because every actor technically does get a scene with the bad guy.
Yeah.
So, no one was left out. Like, but if you compare it to like the Super Mario Brothers movie,
Why would you do that?
it's
Dude,
up
the
there.
Super Mario Brothers movie was actually, it holds up too. It's not that bad. I mean,
All right,
it's not as good as
you're
Spawn.
crazy. Now you're crazy.
It's
Look
not
at
as
what
good as
you've done.
Spawn holds up pretty well.
Spawn's fantastic.
Yes.
Especially
Yeah.
the director's cut of Spawn. That's fantastic.
The one with John Leguizamo?
Yes,
That's Spawn?
as
Yeah.
the clown.
Yeah.
And Michael Jai White.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Anything with Michael Jai White. My favorite is Black Dynamite, dude.
I think I've
You
seen
guys
it.
ever watch Black Dynamite?
Black
With
Dynamite.
Michael Jai White.
It's like Michael Jai White doing Shaft.
Well, it's full on like old school blaxploitation where he's just like this super hot badass, like, and all the hot chicks love him and all the dudes want to be him and everybody wants to kill him. It's fucking hilarious.
It's
one
pretty
of the funniest
funny.
movies
Yeah,
ever.
it is pretty funny. Yeah.
Dynamite.
I mean, with
It's basically
very
like-
with very few
Go ahead.
exceptions, if Michael Jai White today walked into a room, he's probably the coolest guy in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fucking Michael
Man,
Jai
it-
White.
And then like all of a sudden Wesley Snipes walks in and it's like
As to how
The only
they
difference
never
is
got a
Michael
movie
Jai-
together. Oh, that would have been great.
Michael Jai White never did Tu Wong Fu, so I think he outschools. I think he automatically wins just based on that.
Is that the throwdown? Like they just start throwing movies. Michael Jai White just goes Tu Wong Fu. And Wesley Snipes like, fuck, I gotta leave.
Just turns around and walks out.
Son of a bitch.
Michael Jai White just holds up a dress. You know what this is, motherfucker.
You know what you did. Fucking Tu Wong Fu. Oh man. I still tell people
But
to
yeah,
watch that movie. It's just funny.
I mean, the original. I don't know if you ever seen the actual original, but the original was fantastic. Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
Oh God, Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
Well, what's interesting about that movie is the central character, the main character, is actually a straight guy who's completely straight. He just likes to dress like a chick and perform, which is so his wife
Half the
divorces
80s
him
bands.
and then. Huh?
Said half the 70s and 80s hair bands.
Yeah, all the hair bands. Yeah, exactly. They just look like women. But yeah, it's a really well done movie. It's and that bus that's in the so Priscilla is the bus, and that bus they actually when it literally because they tried to drive all the way across the outback, which is hard to explain. I mean, the expanse of the outback is insane, right? And there's nothing. and they eventually ran out of gas. It broke down, and then they just had to leave the bus. And they left it there, and now it's like a full-on tourist destination in the middle of fucking nowhere in Australia.
Josephus has a pretty good question. Did they wait too long to do Constantine 2? Because we've been waiting a while for
We're
that.
going to find out. I don't know that we needed a Constantine 2, if I'm being honest.
We don't need it, but part of me wanted to see it.
That's fair.
Like, I didn't watch Constantine and was like, I need it again.
I need
another one.
Yeah. Well, it's a superhero movie, so
That is true.
you already.
There's
are like,
more to the comic book and all that, more to the stories.
But you know, for the Priscilla Queen of the Desert, the only thing I remember that is the Drew Carey episode where they tried to go see the Rocky Horror Picture Show as the late night movie at the theater in their town, and it had been replaced with Priscilla Queen of the Desert, and Mimi and his boss were there in drag. And his boss just goes, "Your drag is old, our drag is new." And then they have a dance fight in the middle of the street.
That's great.
It's like one of the best episodes
It
of
was a
Drew
good
Carey's show.
episode,
It's
yeah.
so fucking funny.
To be fair, that's a legitimate replacement for. Well, I mean, it's kind of hard to replace Rocky Horror, but yeah. We're actually talking about doing we're actually talking about there's like people that want to do a theater troupe out here, and I said, and they wanted me to direct and do some things, and I was like, okay, I'll tell you what, we'll do a test run. We're gonna 4-wall a theater, and we're gonna do Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh, you're not going to do Facing the Giants?
That, to be fair, if you did Facing the Giants in drag and made it all about the struggles of trans people.
Wow.
Now you got a movie, bro. Take
Great.
the exact same script. Take out football.
Just insert whatever.
insert drag, like insert drag queen shows, and the main guy still praying to Jesus. And you've got a movie, bro.
Didn't you know,
That
Cameron?
will
That was
sell.
the original script.
Football just tested better in screens. Yeah, we need football. Nothing goes hand in hand like football and Jesus. That's all it is. It's the American way.
Dude, I feel like when they decided to make that movie, like when they put it together, it was a lot like Sidney Frank and Grey Goose. Like, let's make it in France. There's expensive stuff in France. They're like, we need to make a Jesus movie. And the guy's like, you know what we need to make it about? Football. Because the whole middle of the country's in.
Yeah.
Turns out, not so much. It was so bad it killed a studio.
It did.
I
Literally took that studio down with it.
I think that studio went down, but they have been making more of those kinds of movies, so I think someone bought the rights. So, like, a little sus.
Yeah, it was called Fox Faith.
Yeah,
And
it's,
I'll
it's
never
something else
forget-
now.
I was just like, oh my god, like what in the hell? When I saw the film cans arrive, because I was like, okay, a football movie. I had no idea because I never know what they are, and I'm like, okay, it's a football movie. So I invite Lane over. I'm just like, yeah, but then so I invite Lane over, and then right after I invite Lane over, the cans come in, and I open it up, and then I look at them, and on the front it says Fox Faith, and I was like, ha ha ha. This Lane's gonna fucking love this shit.
This is not like the youngest art at all. You lied to me. You said this was like Remember the Titans. You lied.
It was so bad.
Didn't you walk out of that?
No, it was a screening.
No.
There was like we're just in there drinking. Was there someone else in there? Cameron was. I feel like it was more than the two of us.
There was more. A couple of them walked out though.
Yeah.
I think there was like 4 or 5 of our friends, and they were like, "Dude, what the fuck is this thing?"
Someone
Lane
here
suffered through it with me.
Someone gave it a
suffered through
proper
it.
critique, and they were like, overuse of the spotlight, like Christian lighting.
Too much J.J. Abrams lens flare.
Dude, the number of times they found a place where light was coming through the trees or the crowds, like the clouds, on a single spot, and the main character, who couldn't cry, so he just blinked a lot, like went to that light spot and fell to his knees and started blinking excessively whilst doing a monologue. Like,
Look, the only appropriate use of the Jesus lighting is in the Blues Brothers.
Yeah.
Fair.
Right as James Brown's like, "Can you see the light?"
Someone was critiquing that using Bible quotes. Like, well, if you look at, whatever, Genesis 5:13, what it really says, like that was an honest to God critique. I know it exists.
Wow, someone went all out. Oh man, that's amazing.
Probably the
I might
best
have to
critique
watch
they've
that.
gotten.
That might be really funny to watch.
It's funny to think about so many different movies that like would never. I don't think you could ever pull off. Like, remember when they made Blues Brothers 2000?
I love Blues Brothers 2000.
It was good. I liked it.
That's fantastic.
But it just didn't go over. The audience wasn't there anymore. Like that was like, you can't really, because it was strangely a musical and strangely like, it was all it had so many different elements to it. It was things were so much more complex back then that you could pull something crazy like that off. It was just like when they go, you got to go see the Penguin. It's just like so fucking ridiculous.
If you think that I'm gonna go talk to some jive ass nun, no, you promised to see the Penguin when you got out of jail. You have to go up there. You can't lie to a nun.
Yeah. Dude, I still, one of my favorite moments about that whole movie is when you really figure out, and it's such a brilliant way to, because they don't explain really why Jake's in jail at all.
Right.
And then he's like, we got to get the band back together. And then they end up at that place, and it's like the country western place, and they're on tour. They got the band back together. But then Jake said he's got this whole tour. He doesn't have any tour. And you start to realize it when they're like, wait, what? We're not the good old boys. And he's like, no, don't worry. That's tomorrow. But tonight, this is us,
The sign's wrong.
They got the sign wrong or whatever. And then he walks in and he's like, hey, and he's like, are you the good old boys? He's like, we certainly are. And he's like, what kind of music do you want us to play tonight? And he was like, oh, we like both types, country and western.
And then they give him that set list. So he's like, no, it's just requests. We don't have to do that.
Yeah,
I like this.
dude. So
Our knockoff Batman movie with the pangolin.
The pangolin. You gotta go speak to the pangolin.
the pangolin. Oh, dude.
Who will be making soup in the introduction scene.
So it's a cooking movie. Is it? It's like Chef, but with pangolins.
Is he a cannibal? Is this like Extinct Eats?
Extinct Eats. Oh man, that's probably going to become a thing now that they're like cloning these ancient species or whatever out of remaking them.
I am willing to eat all that and test it.
Actually, like, let's think about this for a minute. That is the one thing you did not see in Jurassic Park.
Oh yeah, them
There
eating.
was no like Brontosaurus Burger Shack on that island, and that seems like a missed opportunity.
I
If
probably-
I'm paying to fly to this fucking island to see all these dinosaurs, you best believe I'm gonna be like, I want to know what that tastes like.
Best damn burger I've ever had.
Best hamburger. I've
You
had.
see any cows around here?
It's a rat burger.
Yeah, they never explained where all the food came from. Actually, it could have legitimately been that.
I think 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 of the branding
like
for that.
T-Rex steaks.
Yeah, T-Rex steaks, Brontosaurus burgers, like the whole 9 yards. Pterodactyl wings.
Yeah, pterodactyl wings. But the thing is, typically carnivores don't taste very good. So you would, as far as steaks.
It's not they don't taste very good. You have to overcook the shit out of them because they're full of parasites.
Hey, well, first of all,
And gamey.
First of all, these are genetically modified,
Nope,
GMO
Josephus,
grown steaks. They can be tender and juicy. We made that shit in a lab. All right. If T-Rex tastes like A5 Wagyu, it's because we fucking built it that way.
It's supposed to have some frog DNA. Could take like frog leg.
Science.
This T-Rex feels a little slow. Yeah, carrying some extra fat.
It's got a little extra fat. It renders down real good though.
Hey, by the way, Josephus, if that's what you're into, come on out. I'll give it to you.
Oh God, never mind.
You said no, and then he just went for it. Shouldn't have said
I didn't
anything.
Just no.
But Brontosaurus burgers, I like that though. That's a clever. That would be fucking.
What?
You know, it would be funny to remake Jurassic Park, like especially with today's CGI and all that, and then make it just like totally ridiculous like that, like where it's like
where's the
missed,
parody?
A missed cameo for Guy Fieri.
Yeah.
Jurassic Eats.
Jurassic Eats.
Dinners, dinos, and dives.
Yeah.
The guy from Boneyard in Alaska says he's eaten mammoth meat, short-faced bear, and long-toothed tiger meat.
Yeah. I'm waiting for the short-faced bear to come back.
Right?
What, to eat it?
No.
Oh.
Just to watch mayhem and
Like,
chaos.
you are a savage.
I want to try it.
You would.
I'm willing to eat about damn anything.
No,
Just try it once.
I've had bear. Not great.
I know it's not great. It's really gamey and really oily, so you have to cook it in a stew to even make it worth the
Well,
damn.
you just make it like duck. Don't give me that look. What?
Just quiet. Everybody's staring at you.
Yeah, what? Don't look at me like that. Just make it like duck is oily and greasy, and it turns out pretty good. A little crispy duck, crispy bear.
It's different. That has different fat content compared to a bear.
You know what? Emerald could do it.
I bet Lang could cook it, right? Maybe.
How so 1996 of you?
Bam.
I want some mammoth tacos, you know, some mammoth adobo.
I mean, maybe mammoth would be good as a taco, I suppose.
Maybe adobo as well, because you're getting a lot of the flavor from the soy sauce and everything else.
Yeah, mammoth adobo, I like that.
Cameron, to answer your question way back, everyone is smoking or drinking the same thing. We're all drinking Michter's 10 Rye.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Oh yeah. We decided not to do the game today.
Yeah, I wasn't
right.
feeling it. I don't know if it's just coming back to work after having a vacation that wasn't long enough or what, but I've been a little out of sorts.
A little off kilter.
Little off kilter.
Oh, that Michter's
It's probably
so
because you were
good.
kind of like meh about the vacation as well, just because everything.
No,
felt...
I mean, listen, the vacation, like, the wine tasting was cool because it was wineries that I knew, and I was there for a purpose, right? So the wine tasting was actually picking wines for the menu.
Oh,
It
okay.
was actual work, but
Right.
it's fun work.
Yeah, yeah.
And I found maybe the best rosé I've had in a decade,
Really?
and the best beach Chardonnay I've ever had. They're
Ooh.
both going on the menu. Little small family producer, really cool people. And then I got to go down and see Ron's space for his new shop, which
Yep.
was super cool. I hung out with the guys a couple of times. Went and hung out at Napa Cigar. Actually, I did Napa Cigar and Napa Valley Cigar, so I saw Randy and I saw Eric.
Oh, nice.
Did
Yeah,
you
yeah.
get any rest?
No.
As you just seem busy
Rest,
the whole time,
rest doesn't exist in his repertoire.
right?
Then I went
Okay.
over to the coast one day because I haven't been to the ocean in about a year.
Did you dip your toe in?
Oh
Yeah.
God, how far was? I haven't been to the ocean since I was a kid.
It's like an hour 15 from there.
Okay.
You go to Calistoga, you turn left, and there's a road that goes all the way down along the Russian River straight to the coast.
Oh,
Yeah, super nice spot.
yeah. Last time I went was Huntington Beach, which was when I was like 10 or something.
I will say, still a little cold.
I bet. And the wind off the ocean and
what
everything.
day
Yeah.
did you go? Was it one of the colder days, or did you go to one of the sunnier days?
They were all cold on the coast. I went on Thursday.
Oh, okay. Because of the winds.
Oh, and the rain that was coming through too. That probably cooled it down.
Yeah, I went up to Gott's Roadside and got a burger one day. Like, it was cool.
Did it rain out there on you?
It rained Sunday night into Monday.
Okay.
Yeah, it rained on Monday for us.
Yeah.
That sucked.
It kind of
I mean,
pushed our
it was
mini golf
beautiful.
out.
And because I had a bunch of things that I knew I wanted to do, like I wasn't searching for experience, and they were all cool people that I'm friends with. Like,
Yeah.
I had a good time, don't get me wrong, I had a blast. It's just Napa generally is starting to feel a little stale. Like they need to do what Vegas does. Like they need to reinvent themselves a little bit.
Aren't they set in their ways though? Because it's old money essentially, old wineries as well.
It's not anymore. They've all been sold and turned over. Like very few of the original families are left.
No, I didn't know that.
I will say so. The rosé and the Chardonnay that I put on the menu, the winery's called Matera, but the winery manager is the son of the Heights family, super famous family in wine, and the head winemaker is the granddaughter. She's Bo Barrett's son. So Bo Barrett's dad is responsible for the Montelena Chardonnay that won the Tasting of Paris.
Oh.
Him and Mike Gergich.
Oh shit.
So like old line, I did find a place and it was old line Napa, and like these wines are amazing. And then they started telling me the story. I was like, yeah, it kind of makes sense.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But they were like, do you think you're gonna like? What do you like? They were kind of the guy that was. I don't think they do many of those tastings for trade because they're just not that well known yet. And the guy that was doing the tasting for me was kind of nervous the whole time because I've got a notebook and I'm taking notes and pushing bottles back and forth. And he's like, so what do you think? He's like, is any of our stuff gonna make your menu? I go, oh yeah, that, maybe that, and that like won't make the menu because it's too expensive. Their Merlot, like I had just come from Duckhorn, like world famous Merlot, right?
Yeah.
Their Merlot, like I didn't taste it, like I hadn't tasted the Three Palms Merlot, which is Duckhorn's like most famous Merlot, but it blew the Stout Creek Merlot out of the water.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like it was amazing.
That's
Like this is, and it's a lofty title too. They call it Right Bank Merlot. So Right Bank is where the Merlot comes from in Bordeaux. The right, like well, that's a little self-aggrandizing.
that's a bit much.
That's
right
a lot
there.
to live up to.
That's
And I drank. I'm like, that's phenomenal.
That's a big bottle to fill.
Yeah. But yeah, really cool people. Beautiful tasting room.
Yeah.
So how do they ship that? Do they bring it up themselves? Does it go to a distributor?
They have a distributor.
Okay.
California, you have to have a distributor.
Oh, I didn't
In
know
fact,
that.
almost every state you have to have a distributor. Almost every state has 3-tier distribution
I didn't know that at all.
by law.
So it just comes in on a truck
Yeah.
in like a case, like big crate thing. You get like 6 bottles,
But I was really impressed. Like they did a really good job. And Duckhorn's Duckhorn. Like they've been doing it a long time.
It's Duckhorn.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
For sure.
Last time I was down in, last time I came through the States after I got out of wonderful Thailand, yay. I went through and brought Adele to Paso Robles. And I brought her to Eberly. And I kind of felt the same as, because you and I used to go up to Paso all the time.
Yeah.
And I felt the same thing that you were talking about. It was kind of stale. And one thing that I noticed, I asked about it, said, what's Joseph Eberly? I forget his first name, but he was there. And let me tell you, dude, he has not aged well. But I don't know if you remember that the Eberly Chardonnay was probably one of the best Chardonnays out of the Central Coast. It was real good.
Yeah.
Old vines, the whole thing. So I was so excited to bring her there to have her try that, full oak Chardonnay that he always had. He had the full oak, the half oaked, and he had the steel one. And I get there and I'm like, all excited, and everything looks the same. Beautiful. And Adele's like, wow, this is great. And then I'm like, cool. So I look at the menu, no Chardonnay.
Really?
Wow.
And I was like, that mind you, this was like their flagship product in the 2000s.
Yeah, it could be they lost that vineyard because they didn't own that vineyard.
I was wondering because, no, I don't know, because I asked him, and he said that they tore out the vines because Chardonnay wasn't selling anymore.
Well, their Chardonnay wasn't selling anymore. Sure, it's tougher because their Chardonnay wasn't coming from Paso. Their Chardonnay was coming from further south, like south of Edna Valley.
Okay.
And it's tough to be a Paso winery selling Chardonnay. Like you're already, because Paso's way too hot for Chardonnay. So you're digging yourself out of a hole branding wise right out of the gate. And Christian, I'm really sorry I couldn't make it to Phelps. I had to be over in Sonoma at 12 o'clock, and they didn't have a tasting that day until they didn't have availability until like 12:30 or so. I just couldn't work it out. But Phelps is phenomenal. Like they're world class.
So I mean, like, is also this like going back to these places? Is it the perceived idea of the place you had the first time you went or the second time, and it, just now that because like the way the world is, it just doesn't feel new, and you're looking for something new? Like, is that
No.
It
It was just quiet, and like it lost the energy that it had.
Okay.
And this is long after Napa was commercialized, right? Like Napa's been commercialized for as long as I've been old enough to drink.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh, I miss the days when it was like Sonoma, or I miss, like the Edna Valley when it was all families working in the tasting room or whatever. It's not that. It just felt like very precise and very sterile. Like the energy had just gone to a different place.
Okay. So it's not just like you've just gotten used to it now, and then you need something to spice it up. It's just the actual place doesn't feel like it's moved in any direction.
Yeah, and it's not just the businesses; it's the people that were visiting. Like it just had a different tone to it. It was just different.
Okay.
I mean, listen. I can have fun in Napa. I have enough connections down there. Like I can still enjoy being there.
It wasn't like you were like, oh, I shouldn't have come.
No. It was still a fantastic 5 days.
Right, but it's still like it just doesn't have that same pep that you were wishing it had.
Yeah, I mean, like the people in the tasting rooms, they used to be, and Matera they were excited to show me their wines. They wanted to tell me the stories. Like they were really cool. Like they had the old feel of Napa, and maybe it's because they're new. But like Duckhorn was very like procedural and just, of course this vineyard won us these awards, and you're like
Scripted almost.
yeah. It felt very scripted.
Okay. Yeah. I get
It's
that.
probably because they've talked about it so much, it's become just regulated.
Yeah, I mean probably.
Well, and I think that's kind of like how things are now. Like people just expect to go to a place and have this so the service model's just adapted the very robotic feel. Like you're just gonna lay out the notes. You're gonna do this. Like that's it. Like that's what people come to us for.
That
We don't
always
have to
comes
change.
at the point where you're trying to turn the extra table that you shouldn't turn. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're trying to maximize everything, so everything becomes very procedural and strict. And like the fun part about Napa used to be that you could hang out, talk to the person knew everything about the winery and probably everything about a couple of other wineries, and you could talk stories about Napa and the wines and where you just were. They wanted to ask where else you were tasting and what else you had and what you enjoyed. Like it was this sort of like conversation.
Right.
And that wasn't what it is.
I got you.
Except at Matera, where once they opened up a little bit, and then so the guy doing my tasting, once we started talking, and he realized that like what I was doing, and I had an appreciation for like the valley and the wines and the stories and what I was looking for and how I was going about it. Like he went and he was pulling in like the winery manager. Like he tried the winemaker. She wasn't there, but he tried to get her. Like he was bringing in everybody.
Oh, okay.
Like I was talking to the
Yeah.
family that owns the place. He was telling me about the daughter who's like an art professor who does their labels. Like just really cool stuff.
So really giving you like the full this is the passion we have for this, and this is why we're doing it.
Yeah.
I got you. Instead of the we know why you're here. We don't have to explain who
Yeah,
we are.
instead of the how many of our $300 cabs are you going to buy when you're done with this tasting?
Yeah.
So almost like a family, bringing you in like family. That's telling you about everything,
Yeah.
making you feel like family.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they
Yeah,
did
the other thing, and
Sorry, what, man?
I was just going to touch on what Casey said before, is that it's basically become almost robotic. And I was just thinking, it made me think as as a producer, DJ producer, we have what's called stems. And so when you produce a track, you have a laid out MIDI selection of how the beats are going to go, where they're going to go. All of that stuff's completely organized, right? But then anybody could use that. But if you give if I send that to another producer, I can the track I just released, I can send them the stems, and all it is just MIDI. Well, then they have to choose what instrument, what bass line, what type of bass that's going to go on top of those MIDI notes. And I think that's where a lot of people fail, is they try to replicate business models and say this one worked for this place and this one, and then they don't realize that you have to understand that also on top of that, you need to know how to you can't just be okay, well, I'm just going to I'm going to use this drum beat and it's just going to go through and it's going to sound amazing like the other track. It's you have to loop in a bunch of different things. So there's all the stuff that's built on top of that system, but it is important to have that. But yeah, if having a robotic approach is a good idea, but I've seen too many people try to replicate things and then they just fall apart because they don't understand that it's like, this is just a framework. Everything else on top of the framework is the flavor that you've got to add to it that's going to make it all work and pull it all together.
Yeah, but I think that's true for anything, right? Like it's true in restaurants for sure, and nightclubs.
Restaurants.
Like everyone's trying to scale up the way that someone else scaled up. And you want to take parts, but like you're not trying to create someone else's restaurant. You're trying to scale up what you do.
And make it your own.
Well, it is your own. Like that's the whole idea. Is like you want to scale up and maintain your identity. Like you don't want to scale up and steal someone else's identity.
Right, because then every restaurant would just try to be the French Laundry.
Yeah, well, and I mean, how like you can go through, like I can tell you, like how many, like you go to mid-tier, slightly above fast casual, and you're gonna see like some Asian variation of hot wings. You're gonna see, you know, poke nachos. You're gonna see like there's a list of things you're gonna see on everybody's list, right? You're gonna see something fried in duck fat. You know, whether it's the fries or the wings or take your pick, like. You'll see the same, like everyone just goes and like they read the journals and they're like, oh, this is what the restaurants in New York and LA are doing, so let's just do that. Instead of finding your identity and creating a menu around something that you're trying to build.
Right.
Like this is the difference between like trying to find yourself and sell it to other people and just trying to do what people expect from somewhere else so that you can make money. And I'm not saying like your business shouldn't make money, but like when all you're in it for is the cash grab, it gets.
And there's no soul behind it. It gets dry.
Yeah, when there's no one that has a real connection to it, like in the business that's doing the service, like it's noticeable. It falls flat every time.
Okay.
That makes sense.
You also have to know your market.
That's true. Yeah. Is it part of that? You think the market changed? Like just who comes in now is kind of ruined the elements.
Yeah, partly, but also it's like businesses giving up. Like there's this thing in businesses, right, where like no one believes they can train customers. I know that sounds kind of bad, but like you indoctrinate your customers regardless of your business. Like Cameron will vouch for me, I think. Like I've done it in bars, I've done it in restaurants, I've done it in casinos. You can build a service model and you can give them visual cues and tell a story without actually having to like go and give them commands that like indoctrinate them into what you're doing and bring them into the experience. But everyone, like most service businesses don't know how to do that. So instead of like trying to bring people into their experience, they're just trying to like make sure the customers are happy and don't leave them a bad review. They're not trying to create something. They're trying to avoid penalty.
Gotcha.
Well, that's one of the biggest problems with that Lane has been trying to fix since fucking 2003, if I remember, is that people are trying to avoid penalty, which is this whole stupid Yelp shit with the review thing, which I've always hated because the one thing is that the biggest problem with that model is that it brings out it's perfect for people that are squeaky wheels that want to get greased, that want to be just like, I see so many. That's like, I mean, I know you don't watch Kill Tony, Lane, but one of my favorite parts about Kill Tony is sometimes when people work at a restaurant and they ask him what the restaurant is, what he'll do is he'll go through and he'll read all their 1-star reviews, and almost all the time it's like, the food was good, It's a 1-star review. The food was good. The service could have been better. I just expected a little bit more, and you know, I probably won't come back here and again. And it's like, a 1-star? That should be like a 4-star. Like it's like 4-star. The food was all right. It's, not really my jam, or a 3-star at most. But 1-star? It's like people are way too liberal with just smashing businesses. The thing is, most people, like our jobs in this industry specifically, is when you come through and you have the best time of your life, the last thing you want to think about is going and sitting down and being like, I got to open up my computer and write a really good review. Most people don't do that. They'll remember you. They'll eventually, maybe a month later, go, oh, fuck, I forgot to do that review, and then they'll forget again. But anybody who has a bad experience is going to immediately go back to their hotel room. They'll be leaving the fucking review on their phone while they're sitting there eating. And it's really fucked up the service industry, that whole Yelp bullshit.
I don't go off of Yelp.
reviews.
I don't even look at Yelp half the time. Most of the time,
it's the
I'd rather
same-
get
it's
it
the same
off
with
my
Google.
own.
Yeah, but I mean, some people do. But like, what Cameron says to me, that says something else. Cameron, like, what that says to me isn't like, oh, they left a 1-star review, but like the food was okay. Like, I don't know why they left a 1-star review. This goes back to what I was saying before. Like, that's a loss of identity, right? Like, what that says to me is that people don't know what they're reviewing. Like, very few people know what a proper duck l'orange should taste like, right?
Yeah.
Almost no one,
Yeah.
because almost no one makes it properly here.
Yeah.
What people are reviewing is their experience, like the feeling, like the emotion of their experience, and they don't know it. Like, I can get a 5-star review with mediocre cuisine.
Yeah.
I can't get a 5-star review for someone who came in and felt shitty and can't explain why. Like, you have to, as a restaurateur or a bar owner or a nightclub promoter, like, you have to know what that other thing is and how to get it. And you have to know that that has to come first.
Funny enough, Lane gave me a very nice text message or Facebook message about my language about this. You remember?
I don't know that I did. I don't know that I do.
Was it a 1-star?
So essentially I wrote him something, and it was actually a really simple subject, and he wrote back, and he was like, your response, he's like, you're gonna leave people walking out of the conversation not liking you, and they won't know why.
Oh yeah, no, I do remember that. That's exactly what I said.
And I was like, I can read the actual thing. It's fucking funny, dude.
Yeah.
So, but like on the review, so the review thing is getting out of hand, and it's not just for restaurants. You can leave a review now with Google pretty much anywhere.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I would tell you now, if you want a good laugh for a couple hours, just pick county jails, because it turns out
100% would not recommend.
turns out there is a rating system now for jails, almost like Yelp, but it's on Google, and so it's like 1 star, and you're like, wonder why it was 1 star, and you just go through and you read these, and you're like, yeah, all right, I probably wouldn't recommend that jail either.
This is like the people that review Yellowstone, and they're like, I didn't see any wolves. 1 star. And you're like,
Yeah. Went to the park, didn't see a single animal. When did you go? I'm pretty sure the sign says it's not promised.
Did you in fact leave the hotel?
Yeah, like what part did you go to one of the animal viewing spots where it's known, like National Geographic takes pictures?
Yeah.
No.
Old Faithful was 6 minutes late.
Yeah.
1 star. Would not
1 star.
recommend.
Would not go back. Sorry. No. And but that translates to now, I think, into like TVs and movie. Like once Ebert and Roper disappeared, right? Because they died. Like everyone else now wants to be Ebert and Roper, and it's like, who the fuck are you? You don't have the background of film knowledge to rate this movie and or TV show at all. Like you're outside your mind.
Did you ever see that South Park episode where fucking Cartman figures out that he's a professional reviewer through Yelp, and he just goes in and ruthlessly ripping them apart, and then they end up giving him free food everywhere he goes.
Yes, I did see that one.
And then he gets all pissed off because then everybody else suddenly is like, I'm a Yelp reviewer, okay? So make sure that it's very good. And he's like, hey, no, I'm the reviewer.
I despise Yelp. They review the wrong things. They review them the wrong way. Like, everything about Yelp is bad. I have, in fact, designed a business model specifically to put Yelp out of business.
Yeah. Well, and the thing that kills me on that is like sometimes like you read these reviews and it's like there's some context missing to this story. like I get what you're saying. Like it's all emotional, right? Because clearly it's out of context. Like food was terrible. It arrived cold, and it's like, okay, why? It's like, oh, because you waited 2 hours in line. You could have gone somewhere else, but you waited 2 hours. The kitchen was backed up like a motherfucker, and they were trying to do their best because they were short-staffed, and you gave them a 1-star review. You can go fuck yourself.
Ordered gazpacho, came cold. Would not recommend.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out then you just don't like gazpacho.
It's supposed to be cold, you fucking twit.
No, I listen. Not that you shouldn't try and put out the best cuisine you can. I mean, in the context of whatever the restaurant is, right?
I think there's an expectation for where you're going.
Yeah.
Right.
But if all reviews focused on was the energy and like the feel, and then sort of ancillary addressed like whether the service was perfect or a little slow or whatever. But like that wasn't the heart of the rating. If you just changed the way ratings were weighted, people would have more fun. Like they would better identify the restaurants they want to go to, and they would enjoy the experience. Like Yelp isn't helping anybody enjoy an experience more or less.
No, it's just helping them cookie cutter what they had to change.
Yeah.
And
Or it's helping them avoid places that that might be amazing and maybe just had a bad day.
Well, it turns out if you really want to use Yelp, just use Yelp in the reverse way. Go for the crappiest restaurant on Yelp. I guarantee you it'll blow your socks off. Or it's legitimately hot garbage and you've made terrible mistakes that you should have known were going to happen.
Dude, Cameron, how many terrible bars have you been in? The service was terrible. The food was trash, but you had a blast.
Oh God, I can't even count. Dude.
Yeah.
Especially in like
Yep.
in slow. For instance, Mother's, man. Mother's is a good example. Like their food was never great, mate. And but you know, I had some good times in there. Also Cody's place, the Creaky Tiki, when I went down there.
Yeah.
Fucking, it's a hilariously built place that doesn't make any sense. The food was like average, but dude, the place I had a fucking blast, man. It was so fun. I mean, It was again Marty's. Marty's is the prime example, but they did have good food when they had that one chef in there.
Yeah.
They did. To be fair, they did have good food, but you know, it's bar food, and but you can't beat that vibe. And I mean, you know, that's like something that Adele does which is good, is she'll like go through and she reads, when we go to places, she'll read the 1-star reviews. She'll read like 2 of those. Then she'll read the 3-star reviews. And then she'll read one 5-star review. And then she'll be like, you know what? She always tries to go with the middle reviews. Like the one, we always end up going into like a place that's like 3.5. And then we end up, it's fucking great. You know what I mean? But when you try to go to like 4.9s, the place is going to be overrun.
Listen, Yelp makes perfect sense for the French Laundry.
Yes.
Where the whole point of what they do is to be perfect.
Yeah.
But it's stodgy. Like, it's not a howling good time. Like, it's stodgy.
It's a proper, like, fancy restaurant.
Yeah. It's a $500 a person, 9 to 12 course meal where you're going to spend, you know, if you're doing it right, probably $5,000 or $6,000 on wine.
And booking is limited.
Yes, kind of.
But like, if that place starts to fall off, like really fall off, you'll see it on Yelp, and it'll make sense.
Yeah. I think, you know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to start going to bars, and I'm just going to leave my Yelp reviews, but it's just going to be the synopsis of fucking Roadhouse.
Yeah. But like
everywhere I go.
Dude, if you're at a fucking beach bar with 5,000 other of your closest friends, and you're like, took forever for the bartender to get to me, like, what did you think was going to happen?
Let's again the context. Why did it take that? Oh, because you were in a sea of people and they were doing their best. Turns out there's only 2 hands and you can make so many drinks at this time.
Like, I can design the fastest cocktail menu you can think of. You're still gonna wait.
Yeah, if there's 500 people at the bar, you're gonna wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, by the way, Lane, I don't know if I told you, when I was back in the States for that short 3-month tour thing. I went down to Newport and I took Adele to the beach ball, which was it's a super dive bar on the beach in Newport on the peninsula. And for those who don't know, and my brother used to work there, Strider, and who unfortunately passed away. And years ago, there were 2 people staying at my hostel Paizen, like maybe 3 months after he died, and I was talking about him, and they were like, "Wait, Strider, where was he living?" And I said, "Newport Beach," and they were like, "Did he work at the beach ball?" And I was like, "Yeah," and they were like, "Oh my God, honey, we have something for you." And so they pulled out a fucking pen from the beach ball and they gave it to me.
Yeah.
And so I was like, no way, right? So then all these years later, I bring Adele to the beach ball, and she's like, "Why are you bringing me here?" And I was like, "You'll see." She was like, "This is like the diviest place I've ever seen."
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah," but you go in there and it's like, you know, the usual dive bar people.
I love a good
And I
dive
walk
bar.
in and they kind of like, they're kind of like, "Oh, okay," because you know, interesting. And so I walk in and I walk up to the bar and I ordered a couple of drinks, and I asked the person, I'm like, they're like, "So what brings you here?" And I was like, "How long have you been here?" And she was like, "Oh, I've been here for 20 years." And I was like, "You wouldn't happen to remember a guy named Strider, would you?" And she was like, "Oh yeah, no, I remember a guy named Strider. So unfortunately, he passed away." And I was like, "Yeah, I know, New Year's Eve 2017." And she was like, "How do you know that?" And I was like, "He was my brother." And she was like, "Oh my God." And then Adele was just like the whole bar, all the regulars are all just like buying us drinks, and like we couldn't get out of there, dude.
Yeah.
Again, you know, if anybody had come in during that moment, even if it, you know, they would have left a raving review because the energy in the room was just like amazing, right? But that was kind of cool, you know, to bring Adele to see where my brother worked and all that. Sorry, that's a bit of an aside, but you know, the biggest dive bar can still be a smashing hit, you know, even if it's a 3.3 on Google.
Oh yeah, I love a good dive bar. Hogs and Heifers in Vegas was a good one that I enjoy going to when I go down there.
There you go.
Hogs and heifers.
Didn't they just close?
Did they? I have to check. I haven't been
Right on
down
the
there. in a
strip,
while.
yeah?
Yeah.
They just closed. Or they're closing. I think, in fact, no, I think they just closed.
Oh,
Damn. That was a good place. I enjoyed going there regularly when I was down there.
I wonder what Nick and Nell are doing.
I mean, just like 3 weeks ago.
Damn.
Oh, Blondies.
Didn't even know that. Cameron, Hogs and Heifers is actually, there was one in New York as well. That was the first one, and that's what Coyote Ugly was based on. Her bar in New York.
Okay.
They just closed.
Yeah, the Coyote Ugly in the New York is garbage. But
Yeah.
I was going to ask Lane. You know, I was thinking about the difference between the two types of like. So you know, on in Carson, I think it's called the old 395 or whatever. The one
Reds?
on the right. The Reds.
Yeah, Reds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then across, if you keep going down, across from there on the left is the Fox and Hound, right?
Yeah, they changed it to the Fox.
Yeah. So it used to be the Fox and Hound was actually really good. And
It
so when we
wasn't.
first
It
rolled
wasn't
in-
the Fox and Hound. It was the Fox and something else. No, it was the
The
Firkin and
Firkin
Fox.
Fox.
The
Yeah.
frickin' Fox, yeah.
The Fox and Hound's
Yeah,
on
the
the top
Fir-
of Kingsbury.
That's totally correct, and I think my friends actually own that place. But it's the kids I went to high school with.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, he does. What's his name? I'll think of it. Scrawny
Yeah,
kid,
actually-
dark hair.
Yeah, I can't remember though. But I hadn't thought about Todd in a long time. But it was interesting because I brought Adele to both, and we went into what used to be the Firkin Fox, and then it was we went in and it was just the Fox. And we sat down and we waited, and it was just, dude, it was like, because I remember when it first opened, and I was like, wow, this is in Carson City? Like, this is dope. It was like awesome. Dude, it's so bad now.
Oh, yeah.
And so we sat down, we had one beer. The lines were obviously filthy.
Oh yeah.
The beer was flat, and I was like, and Adele's like, "Do you want to order a pizza?" And I'm like, "Fuck no, mate."
Yeah.
not with,
I used to
No,
get
it's
fish and
Philly lines
chips
like
there,
that.
so I stopped going because their fish and chips tanked.
yeah. So I mean, then Red's old 395.
That's
I
horrible,
brought Adele
too.
in there. Adele in there. It was all right. And but it was funny. I was walking out of the bathroom, and there's this table of people, and the one guy says he's like, "Hey, where are you from?" And I think I recognize this guy from somewhere, and I don't know why I recognize him, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm actually from Tahoe," and he's like, "Oh, really? You're from Tahoe? So how long have you been living in Tahoe?" And I'm like, "Oh, I actually just got back from Thailand." And the other guy's like, he's like an old guy. He's like, "Oh, my wife's Thai," and I was like, "Oh, sawadee krap." And she was like, "Oh, sawadee krap." And I was like, "Kun sabadi chai mai krap." And she was like, we just started having a full conversation in Thai. And she was telling me, because her husband couldn't hear. She's like, I can't believe that my husband I've been with for 15 years doesn't speak any Thai. And I meet a guy randomly in a bar that can speak perfect Thai. And he's like, who are you, son? And I'm like, my name's Cameron Bowman. And he was like, oh, like Jennifer Bowman's brother. and I go, oh man, please do not associate me with her. I'm adopted and I haven't lived in America for a long time. And he's like, no, don't worry. Just wanted to let you know, by the way, my name's Joe Laub.
Oh shit, it was Joe.
Yeah, and it was his it was his father. So it was like the Laubs, and then they were like,
Joe and
they were
Mel.
like, they were like, hey, what do you do for a living? And I'm like, I'm an event producer. And they were like, really, you're an event producer? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, oh, well, do you know Paul Reeder? And I was like, ironically, that's the person that I kind of grew up idolizing, and that's why I became an event producer. And he was like, Paul's been my friend for a long time. He's retiring soon, yeah? And I was like, I did not know that. And he was like, it seems like you'd be pretty good. Like, what do you think about, maybe I'll introduce you. If you want to move back to Tahoe, I can get you, he wants to retire. Maybe you could take over. And I was like, it was like the craziest moment, because I was like, I can't do it because Adele's not from America and we're already on our way to Mexico. But it was like the dream offer that I wanted when I was young was given to me right there in Redwood 395 because I can speak a language and had just gotten out of a prison from that country. Talk about full circle. But they gave me their card and everything, and they were like, they were like, how's your mom and that? And I was like, well, she'd probably be better if my sister wasn't in her life. And everybody was like, yeah. I mean, everybody was just talking about. It's weird how that woman leaks herself into every conversation somehow.
I'm glad I never met her.
Factually accurate. You have met her, I think.
There's no way.
She's been in here.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think you have.
You've met her.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you saw her again,
you-
you'd remember.
I'd have to see. I'd have to put a face to a name at this point.
If she even has one anymore. She's more like a fucking Medusa these days, dude. I don't know if you've seen what she looks like, but she's like 300 pounds.
I mean, the last time I saw her, she knew better than to talk to me. She ducked her head and walked off.
Nah, smart. Finally
Yeah,
learned.
that's probably the right move. But yeah, well, we're almost at the 2-hour mark, guys. What do you want to do?
Let's
Well,
wrap it
our
up.
camera's gonna die at some point.
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
Oh, am I taking us out?
You're
What?
taking us
Whoa,
out because I've been
whoa.
taking us out for a while
That's
now.
your job.
It's your
You're the
turn now.
takeout guy.
All right. Cameron, thanks for joining us again from the other side of the world.
Of course.
Josephus, Christian, Josh, thanks for getting in the chat and hanging out with us. It was a lot of fun. If you haven't,
Hope you guys enjoyed
if
it.
you aren't one of those guys and you liked what we did, do YouTube things. See you next week.